Hello, hello, hello. This is M, CEO of the Soul Focus Group. If you listen to my last video where I shared with you something very intimately painful about my life, I wanted to continue to elaborate on not just what happened in the courtroom for me, but the other thing that I wanted to believe. Earlier, I talked to you about, in this line of videos, I talked to you about how my great grandmother would ask us if I was the one, ask me if I was the one, and my cousins and siblings if we were the one. And she instilled that in me, but the idea that I believed that I wasn't enough came first. So I sort of like gave myself to the belief that I wasn't enough, and that begins to start developing a certain kind of toxic groundwater in me. Because see, what happens is when you believe something about yourself, whether it be positive or negative, there's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. Now, the reticular activating system we don't use as much as we used to, because we used to have to store the memory of our phone numbers, our addresses, and all that stuff in our brain. Now we just hold them in our phone so we don't have to remember all that stuff. But how the reticular activating system also works is like, if you buy a car and you think you're going to be the only one with that make and model or that color, and then you drive it up the lot, what happens? Almost immediately you begin to see other cars exactly like your car, so you're not the only one. Now, it's not that everybody decided to go buy the car at the same time as you. It's the fact that your brain is focused on it, that it's become a point of interest for you, and what your brain is doing is going out into the world and finding evidence to confirm what you believe. So now that works in the positive and it works in the negative. It also works like when you're in the airport and there are people walking back and forth, talking, having conversations, and there are planes taking off and planes landing. But for some reason, when they call your flight, you hear it and you make the move to the gate. That's how the reticular activating system works, but it works well with your belief system. That's why I was telling people all the time, when you talk about transforming systems and institutions externally, you have to understand how to transform systems and institutions internally. And one of the systems in yourself is your belief system. You have to transform your belief system to transform how your brain is calibrated, what your brain is calibrated to find evidence of in the world. So as I believed that I wasn't good enough, my brain was always calibrated to find reasons or find proof, to prove to me, you're right, Mahdi, you're not good enough. So just about every situation I experienced in life up to a certain point, that survival mode tactic, because it was my survival mode, to believe that I wasn't enough, helped me to survive. Helped me to develop an armor where I wouldn't allow people to get close to me emotionally. For years, I was talking to one of my sponsors, Hank Azaria, and I was telling Hank how when I went to high school, my high school reunion, I think it was a 30-year high school reunion, it was like I was having an out-of-body experience because I didn't remember any of the people. Now, I know I went to school with these people. I know I had relationships with these people. But I literally could not remember the people. I couldn't remember the relationships. I couldn't remember the conversations they shared with me. It was like I was somebody else. And then it made sense to me because during that time in my life, I was so out of my body. I was so disconnected from myself, from my true self, because of the pain that I was experiencing, because of what I was trying to survive. My survival tactic was don't let anybody in. So even though people were friends with me, I wasn't friends with them because I didn't even know how to be. I didn't know how to be because I was so busy trying to survive the pain of what we were going through. So when I went to my high school reunion, I was like, oh my God, I just felt so strange. So I'm saying this to say this. I wanted to believe I wasn't good enough because it made sense of why I was being treated the way we were. It made sense to why when I would ask my family for a picture of myself as a baby, and no one had a picture of me as a baby. No one. And my brain would take that and make that mean. You see? That's why you're not good enough. Nobody didn't even take the time to take a picture of you as a baby. Or no one took the time to preserve a picture of you as a baby. You were insignificant. You didn't matter. Nobody cared about you. You were insignificant. All of my brain, me believing that I wasn't enough, would find evidence and translate it to mean all of those things. So I would walk around with that in my head for a long time. The saving grace was what my grandmother, my great-grandmother, invited me to believe. She invited me to believe that I was the one. She invited me to believe that I was an only begotten just like Christ. Because only begotten means the same thing as unique, one of a kind. It's the same thing. It's just biblical language. I'm the only begotten, and so are you. So she invited me to that, but I wasn't. I wanted to believe I wasn't enough so bad, because I wanted to believe that because I wanted to give my parents a reason for doing the stuff that they did. I was looking to take them off the hook and take it all on me. So as life went on, I started doing my inner work, the new work. I found a greater desire to believe that I am the one than the desire to believe I'm not enough. So no one could make me believe what I didn't want to believe. When my great-grandmother introduced the belief to me, I didn't want to believe it. But as time went on, I started wanting to believe it. I wanted to believe that I was the one. Why? Because it made sense about how I was able to withstand and survive all that I withstood and survived. It made sense that I was able to guide my brothers into a better life, like I said I would. It made sense that everything that I said I was going to do, I did and accomplished, and I'm still accomplishing and doing things now. I am the one. But here's the thing: I had not fully embraced it. And boy, when I start embracing it, ooh, when you start embracing the greater belief in yourself, then you're not good enough, and you start embracing the reality that you are the one, that you are the only begotten, and you lean into it with all of your heart, soul, and body, there will be nobody be able to stop you, because the only person that's been stopping you is you. As we say at the Soul Focus Group, that is the gift of self-solidarity. See, solidarity don't just means being together. It means solid. It all comes from the root solid. To be solid means to be unshook, unfazed. You're rooted in your truth. Man, it's a beautiful thing to be in solidarity with yourself. I'm just so extremely happy to be a part of the transformation in people's lives in this world, because we are leading on the leading edge of teaching people the new work. I call it the new work strategy, and I call the people that are working the new work strategy new work workers. We invite you at the Soul Focus Group to come join us and become a new work worker, to become that person that you've always wanted to be, to take your eyes off everybody else and to really start zooming in on yourself, to really start discovering, how do I use my power? How do I use my gifts? How do I use my talents? How do I uncork my creative genius? Because we were all born creative geniuses. Just the way we've been socialized and programmed has moved us away from it, but we know how to move you back to it. Come to our website, www.soulfocusgroup.com, and check us out. We know how to help you get to your power. We know how to help you establish self-solidarity, because without self-solidarity, there can be no collective solidarity. If we're ever going to come together, you have to come together with yourself first. If we're ever going to come together, you have to come together with yourself first. Love you. I'm M. Peace.